What is demand? Demand is the relationship between price and the quantity demanded at that given price. The law of demand states that as price increases, quantity demanded decreases. This can be graphed on a simple graph where price is on the y-axis and quantity is on the x-axis. So as price increases, quantity demanded decreases. So there are a few different factors affecting demand. One is price. One is the number of consumers. So let's back up here. Price, number of consumers, income levels, preferences, expectations, related goods, and substitutes of that good. Now, going back to our demand curve, the reason for the downward sloping curve, the reason for the law of demand is there are three factors: the income effect, the substitution effect, and diminishing marginal utility. We'll start with diminishing marginal utility first. So marginal just means the per unit. It's a per unit amount. So the amount of, utility is just a measure of satisfaction that we get from a good or service. So marginal utility is the amount of satisfaction that you get for one additional unit of consumption. So diminishing marginal utility says that as we consume more of something, for each additional item that we consume, we get less satisfaction out of it. So if you're thinking of, say, Andes mints, let's say this is the market for Andes mints. The first Andes mint is really good. It's really satisfying. And the next one, still pretty satisfying. The next 500, not anywhere near as satisfying. So as we continue increasing our consumption, the amount of satisfaction we get of each additional unit goes down, so the amount we're willing to pay for that additional unit is a lot smaller than the very first unit that we consumed. The next factor that affects the law of demand that we mentioned is the substitution effect. And that is just the idea that if there's something that's really similar, and we tend, as price goes up of the current good, so let's say we're looking at Andes mints and we're looking at a cheaper mint that just doesn't taste quite as good. If Andes mints are relatively close in price to the substitute good, we'll just call these Macy's mints. If Andes mints are really similar in price to Macy's mints, we're going to purchase more of the Andes mints because we like them more. But if Andes mints increase in price, then we're going to substitute away from Andes mints to Macy's mints. Then you also have the income effect, which is simply saying you have a limited income. If the price goes up of something you consume normally, then you're not going to have as much left to consume of other goods. So as the price of something increases, the quantity demanded decreases. Now, when you're actually using the demand curve assumes that you're only looking at price and quantity. As every other factor influencing the demand curve is held constant. We call that Ceteris Paribus. Ceteris Paribus just is a fancy Latin way of saying all other things remaining the same, or all other things being equal, which just means that our other factors that we talked about that influence demand, these ones here, the price, the number of consumers, the income levels, the preferences, the expectations, the related goods, the substitutes, all of those are held constant when we're looking at a particular demand curve. So for a particular price, P prime, we can say that we have a particular quantity demanded Q prime. And that is demand.